How tough is it to capture victory in 4 consecutive Champ Car events? Well, consider, in the last 5 decades, only 9 have ever accomplished that feat. Take a gander at who some of those men were. How tough is it to win 5 in a row? Well, only 2 drivers, each a member of America's racing royalty, have placed a 5th consecutive set of checkers in the trophy case. Today, a young Frenchman has a rare opportunity to place his name alongside those 2 icons of motorsport. In 1970, Al Unser seized 5 in a row. 36 years later, Sébastien Bourdais stands poised to match that amazing achievement.
Concentrate on your mark. Go, 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 go.
Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. The sights, the sounds, the exhilaration of a 185-mile-an-hour festival of speed. In the shadow of majestic Mount Hood, we are in Portland, Oregon, where the 5th race of Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Today, the Grand Prix of Portland on CBS Sports. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin, and welcome to Portland International Raceway. If you've been keeping up with Champ Car the last couple of weeks since we left Milwaukee, a lot has happened. Driver shifts and changes in the middle of the season. You might call it an episode of The Young and the Restless. It all started right after Milwaukee when young A.J. Allmendinger, who'd been driving for Rousport since he came to the series, was let go. Mario Dominguez at Milwaukee drove for Forsythe. Cristiano D'Amata for Dale Coyne. Well, now, check this out. D'Amata, the former champion, moves to the Rousport car. Allmendinger becomes a Forsythe driver. And Mario Dominguez, when the music stopped, he had to take a seat with Dale Coyne's team in the 19 car. Now, Derek Daly, all of this sets up quite a situation because A.J. Allmendinger and Paul Tracy are now teammates and they don't get along.
And there's no doubt A.J. Allmendinger is one of the finest young drivers in America today. And the Rousport team that he got fired from was built up around him. And when you get fired, it's like a dagger to the heart of a young driver. But the domino effect then started, which lands him as teammate to Paul Tracy. But they've got history, the two of them. Have a look at this video here. Mexico City, Paul Tracy, middle of your screen. Allmendinger, yellow car, tries to pass him. Tracy moves over and runs him onto the grass to prevent the pass happening. A.J. Allmendinger said afterwards, Tracy is nothing but an idiot. Well, now they have to work together. They have to trust each other.
Yeah.
And with more on what that may look like down the road, let's go down to our good friend, Jan Beekes. Jan?
And Derek, considering the way that this relationship started between Paul Tracy and A.J. Allmendinger, it's amazing how those turn of events have affected things. Remember the times when you were the team owner, he was your driver, you signed him up, but then as rivals, some choice words off and on the racetrack. Now, what do you do as teammates?
Well, I think it's been good. I mean, obviously, it hasn't shown from my side of the team this weekend. We've really struggled in terms of our qualifying setup, but I think we got it sorted out for the race. But, you know, we can just work on a common setup now and really progress the cars to try to catch the Newman Haas team. So, obviously, AJ's starting up front. He's got a good shot today for his first win, and we hope that's going to happen.
And he has been lightning fast in the car, making that transition. That would be the obvious question. First day in the car, you were the top of the timesheet. Surprising?
A little surprising, but Forsythe has just been magical since I've gotten here. Getting me fitted in the car, the whole team, everything that they do for me, they make me feel like they want me here. And it's fun to come back to the racetrack and have the guys smiling. So to get in the car and know everybody's happy and enjoying it and believe in me makes my job just a little bit easier.
And of course, this all started with a move at Rousport. For that, let's get to Cameron Steele.
Well, when the music stopped, Cristiano D'Amata had one of the most coveted rides in all of Champ Car, your 2002 champion, the winner here at Portland in 02, and last year's champion. And the question is, how are you adapting to this new car?
Well, of course, having not had the opportunity to test, it's been a real busy weekend, lots and lots of changes, big changes, small changes, go back and forth in a couple of bunch of setup options. But overall, I'm getting more and more adapt to the car. Qualified 5th yesterday. I have a good car. I like the way my car handled in the warm-up. So I think if you look at all the sessions so far, we've just been getting better and better and better. The last session, which was the warm-up, was the best one for us, and hopefully the race that is the next one to come will be even better.
Well, he did say before we did this interview that, well, I'm looking for a win in the next couple races, and if they slip up, I'm ready tomorrow. Let's go over to Jan, who is with the subject of all their affection.
Yes, and of course, timing is everything. They fire up an engine the moment that we get to Sébastien Bourdais. But the obvious question is, all these moves have been made to try and beat you so that you can't win 5 in a row. With these changes of drivers, does that worry you?
No, think it's a nut factor that everybody wants to beat us. We won the first 4, so the McDonald's car is carrying a big target on his tail, but it's okay. We're kind of getting used to it.
All right, Sebastian Bourdais hopes he's used to 5 in a row, which will put him in the same class as both A.J. Foyt and Al Unser Sr.
A slice of Champ Car history in play today. If Sebastian Bourdais can get the job done, he'll start in row number 2. He won here 2 years ago. We'll be right back to set the lineup for the Grand Prix of Portland. In on green here at Portland International Raceway on this Father's Day afternoon. I want to say happy Father's Day to my dad in Florida. Michelle Beiser's with us this weekend. Michelle's been out and about.
All right, Rick, thanks so much. And for those of you that don't know it, this race is traditionally held on Father's Day. Look at the array of just beautiful gifts that you can get for Dad. And speaking of that, we have lots of good stories up and down pit lane. I'm talking Paul Tracy and his son, A.J. Allmendinger and his father, Catherine Legge and her father, owners Kevin Kalkoven and his daughter Kirsty, and owner Paul Gentilozzi and his son. And Dad, for you, I'm so sorry that I haven't been able to get to the store the last couple of days, busy schedule, but no, I love you so much. Happy Father's Day. Mwah.
Dad's just settled back with a cold beverage and enjoy the show here at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Portland. Getting set to fire the motors today and begin the 5th race of the 2006 season. Sebastian Bourdais going for 5 in a row. To give the command to put the field in motion today, the 41st Brigade of the Oregon Army National Guard. They are deployed in Afghanistan, and they join us to give the command today.
Afghanistan, drivers, start your engines.
Balloons being set free here at Portland International Raceway. Teams awaiting the firing of the 18 motors here today. Part of the pageantry that is a Champ Car World Series event. Race car team ready to pull the field away around this 2-mile road course. Our Bridgestone Pole Award winner this weekend. First time in a long time. Bruno Junqueira still on the mend. The hole-in-the-wall Camp's number 2, one of the Newman Haas cars. He took the pole in the very last lap. A.J. Allmendinger, who we told you just moved to the Forsyth team in car number 7. He thought he had the pole. Look at the disappointment on his face. That's an indication of how important this is. Sebastian Bourdais leads the season-long Bridgestone Pole Award standings. $5,000 to each Bridgestone Pole Award winner here this season. Our starting lineup today looks like this. Junqueira on the pole. Hole-in-the-wall Camp's team. There's the Index 7. Allmendinger will line up alongside a couple of drivers with a lot to prove. The champion, Sebastian Bourdais, going for 5 straight in the McDonald's car. The guy who dominated here a year ago, Justin Wilson, in the CDW9. They'll be in row number 2. Third row, Cristiano D'Amata, the 2002 Series champ. The winner here a year ago, now driving for Rousport. And Speedy Dan Clark out of England, the CTE 14. Fourth row, couple of one rookie, Will Power, who's been very, very strong, and Nelson Philippe on the podium at age 19 2 weeks ago at Milwaukee. Fifth row, Alex Tagliani, who couldn't make the race in Milwaukee because of a crash. Paul Tracy, the former champion, has to start 10th today in the Index Forsyth 3 car. Sixth row, Nicky Pastorelli. Best effort for his team so far this year. He's a rookie. And Oriol Servia, the Gulfstream 6, on his 3rd car of the weekend for the PKV squad. Andrew Ranger in the championship hunt in the 7th row of the MyJack Conquest 27. Here's Mario Dominguez in that 19 car. Sonny's barbecue machine. 8th row, the Bell Micro 20 of Catherine Legge. The MyJack Conquest 34 of rookie Charles Wolfsman. The final row, Jan Halen in the Muirman's number 11, one of the coin cars. And Denise Kazimets makes his Champ Car debut. For standout in the Atlantic Series, he drives the flex of it, car number 18. Let's have a look now at the championship standings. Bourdais with a 31-point lead after just 4 races. Ranger, Allmendinger, and Dominguez in the top 5. We'll be back for the start in Portland.
You may call him crazy.
Welcome back to Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford on CBS Sports. The Champ Car Grand Prix of Portland. Portland International Raceway, one of the traditional stops on this tour. Derek Daly, the track you're most interested in.
It really is, and it is very fast. It is somewhat abrasive, so tires do wear out here. The festival curves down here. If you can make it through there on the first lap, some say you're halfway home. In the infield section all the way to turn 7, you need to have a really good balance. 180 miles an hour down this long back straight, and then the setup corner for the long straight here in the front.
Lots of places to pass here, and Sebastian Bourdais will be looking to do just that in the McDonald's car number 1 as he guns for his 5th consecutive win to open the season. Qualified 3rd there.
He did qualify 3rd, and he had a good run in qualifying, but Allmendinger was just faster, as was Bruno at the end.
Justin Wilson in this car number 9, the CDW machine, starts 4th. Led the first 50 or so laps here a year ago and was dominating. An oil pump shaft broke in the motor of that car, and his day was done down in the festival curves. Also on board looks today from Charles Swolsman, back in 16th spot. Cameron.
Well, earlier, Rick, you alluded to the problems of Oriol Servia in the number 6 Gulfstream car. He had problems between turns 11 and 12 2 times. In fact, he inverted the car on the first time through. He was okay. Going back out on another session, he had a similar problem and went into the tires once again, seemingly liking that spot. Very dangerous spot on the track, lots of high speed. He was using the curb quite a bit more than a lot of the other drivers, attacking very much as he goes through that section. He is now driving the 3rd backup car for the team, courtesy of Catherine Legge, and running the sticker on there, just like a little tribute to her for giving him the car. Let's go to Jan Bikas.
Consider Bruno Junqueira, who has qualified well this year, but has had twice problem in the first corners, being hit from behind. The first incident was, of course, in Long Beach. In Long Beach, he got hit from behind in a major accident in the first corner, and his race was over before the first lap. After that, of course, they moved on after a great... Let's get back to the booth for the start.
It's been a difficult season so far, and the caution flag is being displayed. This will not be a start. J.D. Wilbur in the flag stand, deciding that the field was not aligned properly, and they will go one more lap before green. Derek Daly.
And what you hope when you get a wave off like that the people from the back half of the grid see it early enough, or that the team managers get on the radios and say yellow, 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 because you can so easily have a check-up concertina effect, and then you have contact, and then you have disaster.
They've been racing here for an awfully long time. This is a pretty narrow racetrack, very challenging. Once more, let's go back downstairs to Jan Bikas.
Well, Bruno Junqueira is happy that they've had the caution because he wants us to review what's happened to him this year on both of those starts. We started to talk about Long Beach, where he did get hit from behind in the first corner. He felt he had a very fast car there. Well, it's a very similar situation to what happened in Milwaukee. In Milwaukee, it was a case. In Long Beach, of course, there's a couple different angles to show the impact that we have for Bruno Junqueira. In Milwaukee, of course, it was a case where he didn't get a very good start. He dropped off the front row and then was hit by Mario Dominguez, which, of course, many people feel that was the springboard that made all these driver changes. Now, today, what he really wants to do is he wants a great start. But check out what he's put on his fuel tank here. All he wants for Father's Day, a call from my kids. Got it. I want the pole. Got it. The only box not checked, I want to win.
It would be great to see Bruno in victory lane after those injuries at Indy a year ago. Derek?
And the sticker that Cameron mentioned on Servia's car is car courtesy of Catherine Legge. Let's see what he does with it.
Ready to go at Portland.
Green flag, green flag.
Wilson on the outside. Allmendinger leads him through the festival curves.
Where's Bruno? He looks safe.
Made sure he got through cleanly, but he is back 3rd. And one of the Rocket Sports cars is off. That's Nicky Pastorelli. He's peeled a tire off the rim. Left rear down. Bruno Junqueira scored 4th. How about speedy Dan Clark taking advantage and moving to 3rd as they came to turn 1. Pastorelli gets the 8 car back on the racetrack. Another look.
Usually denotes contact of some sort. Whoa. Gets the front off the ground. Left tire already gone down for Pastorelli. That usually indicates a front wing end plate touched the wheel, potentially sliced it as they went through the festival curves.
Allmendinger is your leader, and 2nd spot belongs to the rookie Dan Clark, who got off to a very, very rough start this season. Justin Wilson back in third in front of Bruno Junqueira, the pole sitter. Paul Tracy has advanced to fifth. Boy, Tracy really took advantage of that opening lap, Derek. He picked up 5 spots.
Not unlike Paul Tracy. Oh, we see, is that tag?
One of the Team Australia machines went through the runoff area. Serbia's gotten by. That is
not
the
tag, it was
Power.
Power, who had a good qualifying session here. And when you miss that chicane, you lose so much time.
Field heading to the backstretch on lap number 3 of 105 laps here today. Cameron Steele.
You can see Nicky Pastorelli in the pit changing the car, maybe changing the strategy just a little bit. Tough to change it so early in the day.
Pastorelli is down and away. Now this is way early for your first stop, so he will have to make an extra stop. Leaders down the front stretch. They will hold Pastorelli before he can blend in. It is Allmendinger, 1.1 seconds ahead of the rookie Dan Clark out of Great Britain. Wilson, Junqueira, and Tracy, the top 5.
And Dan Clark and his teammate Nelson Philippe have been pleasant surprises here this weekend. We know Philippe had a great run at Milwaukee at the last race, but Clark and Philippe always hovered around the top 4, 5, or 6. And Clark said after the warm-up yesterday evening, he said, this car just feels good. I think I'm going to have a good race. A good run for that team.
In the early going, what about A.J. Allmendinger? But before we do that, this is from Charles Wolzman's onboard.
Turns into the festival. Oh, there's contact. And Zwolzman elects to turn left, thinking that that contact ahead of him may have been a schmozzle that he didn't want to get involved in. That was probably a wise decision.
Allmendinger had made 31 starts, Derek, in 2 years and change for the Rousport team. Never won a race. Here he is early from the outside pole, leading the first 4 laps here at Portland. How does he run in the lead today? Well, we'll get back to that in just a second. Cameron Steele.
Well, I'm here with Paul Gentilozzi, the owner of Rocket Sports Team Nicky Pastorelli's car. What happened there, Nicky?
Well, it looked like Oriole got into his left rear, and it doesn't take much with the end plates on these front wings to cut a tire. Terrible thing to happen in the first turn, typical of Portland.
Well, I know your son John is over there, and he wanted to do a little bit more for Father's Day. Hopefully we can have a better race here with the number 18.
Well, we're going to keep pitching. Tonise is going to be patient. I think for his first race, he's going to do a fine job.
We'll see how it pans out.
Well, we'll see. Thanks.
And the wing end plates, Paul Gentilozzi talks about, are the carbon fiber end plates on the outside of the front wings. And carbon fiber is like a knife when it makes contact. And as you look on the slow-mo replay here, it's over the dirt on the first right-hander on the way into the festival curves. There is Pastorelli, the last car through your shot.
The tire that was cut down was on the other side of the car, and there it is. We can see it had just peeled itself off the rim. So the Rocket Sports team bringing Pastorelli in very early. A.J. Allmendinger in the 7 car, Derek. We wanted to talk a little bit about his opportunity here to win in his first start with the new team from the outside pole.
This is a golden opportunity. His career almost got derailed when he was fired from Rousports. He has just set fastest lap of the race. And the strange thing about Allmendinger, he seemed to find the speed almost with ease. His pole position time on Friday was a 1-lap blast at the end of the session. So there's an ease with which he gets the speed. So that driver-car combination just works this weekend.
Well, Bruno Junqueira was the pole sitter. He really suffered on that start. He sits 4th, but his teammate, Bourdais, who started in the 2nd row, going for 5 in a row to start the season. Bourdais back in 7th, trying to track down D'Amata there in the Rousport number 10.
Oh, that's a great speed shot we have for you. Going away over the curb, almost 180 miles an hour in the qualifying sessions down through there. You go over the curb. That's where Oriol Serbia had his 2 big crashes that we showed you earlier. But things settling down here. Allmendinger still fastest lap of the race. He continues to pull away here. He is in control. We're watching Wilson, who is in 4th place. Keep an eye on him. There's D'Amata. D'Amata holding up his side of the bargain here, 6th place, holding off Bourdais.
Sebastian Bourdais in the McDonald's car number 1 for the Newman Haas team.
Wow, this is going against the form, isn't it? You see Allmendinger, Clark, love to see it. Wilson, we've seen him do so many laps, slowly got faster. But to have Junqueira and Bourdais knotted ahead of this field is a bit unusual. Everybody started on the softer, faster red Bridgestones except Catherine Legge. So all of these front runners have started on this softer preferred Bridgestone red.
Catherine back in 15th right now in car number 20. A look off the rear wing of the McDonald's car. The two-time series champ, the 04 winner here is Bourdais. But as Derek mentioned up front, great stories developing. A.J. Allmendinger, his first ride in the Forsyth Index 7 car, replacing Mario Dominguez. He is your leader. And Speedy Dan Clark, who, Derek, we wondered if Dan Clark would even have a ride now. He's come to second. We head back and have a look at the cars running 9th and 10th. Alex Tagliani, Oriol Serbia, who wrecked hard twice this weekend before this day.
In the top 10. Not quite sure Serbia is at what happened, why he flew off the road at such high speed. The sticker is right on the nose cone to remind him this car is the third one you've had for the weekend. It is courtesy of Catherine Legge. This is her spare car. Please take good care of it. He ran this hard for the first time in the final practice session yesterday, and he came out saying this car just feels good. I like this car, so we expected maybe a little bit more than we saw during qualifying for Oriol Serbia. And there's the decal right there. A little reminder, be careful of this one. This isn't yours.
Well, car owners and teammates tend to look dimly on you if you bend up their equipment before next week. Of course, we'll be in Cleveland next Sunday afternoon for the Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland. You'll see it here on CBS Sports. There's Alex Tagliani in the Team Australia Aussie Vineyards yellow and green machine. Tag didn't make the field, didn't make the start 2 weeks ago on the oval at Milwaukee because he wrecked hard on Saturday. They didn't have enough spares to put him back on the racetrack, and here's Serbia in 10th.
You see the Bridgestone reds again with that red sidewall, which denotes the softer of the tires. We're going to keep a close eye on lap times here, because the only thing that doesn't tell lies in racing is the stopwatch. Serbia did a 61.6 on the last lap. Allmendinger leading is a full second lap faster. A.J. Allmendinger is absolutely flying.
First time this year he has had what appears to be a dominant car, but it is very early. One of the longest races in the Champ Car World Series. 205 miles our distance here today. We're at Portland International Raceway. Allmendinger leads Clark, Wilson, Junqueira, and Tracy up to 5th. We'll be right back in Portland.
You don't have that.
Portland, 5th race of 2006. Coming up today, your chance to enter the Champ Car Live Fast Sweepstakes presented by Bridgestone. Win a trip to the Grand Prix of Cleveland next week. Plus Bridgestone Potenza pole position tires or an Auto Week subscription. Our grand prize winner gets a new Ford Mustang GT. Join us in Mexico City for the season finale. This week's code word comes up later. The Champ Car Live Fast Sweepstakes is brought to you by Bridgestone. Our winner at Milwaukee, Curtis Jarrett of Sacramento, California, and his wife are here with us in Portland this weekend. With Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin, Jan Beekes on pit road with Cameron Steele. Our race leader, outside pole starter A.J. Allmendinger in his first start for the Forsyth Index team. Cameron Steele.
Well, you can see the Aussie Vineyards car, number 5 of Will Power, is in. No changes for the vehicle, says Derek Roth, the team owner. They're just pays off.
Power down and away.
One of the disadvantages of making an early pit stop, lap 12, is of course he takes off the faster of the red tires. So now he's gone out of sequence, which is exactly what D'Amata did last year to win the race. However, the yellows, if there's a yellow, has to fall your way. But look at Speedy Dan here. This man is on the limit in the HVM car, looking good here.
Took big advantage of the starting line scramble as they came to the stripe. The pole sitter Bruno Junqueira just wasn't up to speed. He faded back. That gave Clark an opening. He powered his way to 3rd, then 2nd around Justin Wilson. He's 2.5 seconds behind the race leader now.
He's only 22 years of age. He comes to us from England. Did the British F3 Championship. Jan?
With Keith Wiggins, the team owner, you've got to be very impressed with the rookie Dan Clark at this stage.
Well, yeah, it's early stages yet, but he's definitely proved he's got the speed, so we'll just have to see how the race pans out.
Now, we call him Speedy Dan Clark, but at the beginning of the season, he really struggled. What turned it around?
You know, I think we've got to remember that 2 years ago he was in Formula Ford and Formula 3, and then here. It's a big step, and we all knew it was a big step for him, so I expected it to take some time. I think a couple of accidents, you know, hurt the confidence a little bit, but, you know, good guys to stick with it come through, so I think he's over it.
Thank you, Keith.
The The HVM team doing very well with the driver, Dan Clark, in second spot. Justin Wilson, the CDW9 car. Derek, they were so good here a year ago. Led more than half the race before the motor let go. He's picked up one spot, but hasn't really come to a challenging position here yet.
I'm watching the lap times of a Justin Wilson. 60.9 in the last lap. A tad quicker than AJ Allmendinger, but it looks like he's happy to just settle down a little bit here. Here's in through the infield section. Long left-hander. Punishes the tires here. Down to a right-hander leading onto this long back straight. 180 miles an hour. You wear the tires out pretty easily here.
A year ago with Justin Wilson, as we told you, dominant, the Bridgestone Pole Award winner here at Portland. At the time, he was gunning for his first career win. Just past the 50 lap mark, going through the festival curves, the oil pump shaft let go.
Tears your heart out.
You talked about a dagger through the heart. That was a dagger through his heart that day.
And that is one of the emotional highs and lows of motorsports. But he came here, again, determined to prove a point. He is P3 at the moment, but he's not able to run at the same speed as Allmendinger and as speedy Dan Clark.
Jan Beekes
with Carl Russo. And Carl, we were just reviewing the heartbreak of last year, but now things seem as though you're in position maybe to strike again with Wilson.
Well, I think Justin and Cristiano are both doing a good job. I think there are 5 good race cars in this race. The 2 Newman Haas cars, AJ's car, I think Paul's going to have a good car, and both of our cars. I think this is going to be a heck of a race with a lot of strategy to come. So I think we're all in a good position to go compete for the front.
Talking about strategy, you sparked it off by dropping the bombshell about the driver change. How tough was that to do?
I'm sorry, say that again?
How tough was that to do for you to make that change?
Well, I mean, I think as everybody knows, AJ and I at some level started together with the team way back when. Won a lot of champions together. I think the world of him. I couldn't be happier for him. I mean, he's a tremendously talented guy. But it was time for both of us to go find different environments, and we have. He's obviously off demonstrating what he can do, and hopefully Cristiano will join the CDW team, and we'll take both cars to the front. But I think both situations are going to work out well.
Thank you, Carl.
Thanks, John.
Carl Russo trying to get his team onto the podium and in victory lane. Cameron Steele.
Alex Tagliani just a little long on the stops, and I asked the team, are there going to be any changes? They said absolutely not. Car is fine. We're just going for the same power and alternate strategy.
He does a running back to 61.
Maybe they told you that, Cameron, but I did see a mechanic make a wing adjustment on the front wing. The little adjuster is right here, well, right there on the front wing. They made an adjustment. He's now off the red tires on the somewhat slower regular tires from Bridgestone. The red tires are given to these teams so as they have an option. They can put on softer tires. They have to use them at least one time during the race. It's up to you when you use them. Softer tires are faster, but they wear it out faster. So it's a strategic move as to when you use them and how you use them.
Allmendinger continues to lead. 18 laps coming up on the board next time by. Back a little further for 5th, Cristiano Damata. In 6th right now, the yellow and white Rousport number 10. Trying to track down Paul Tracy, Allmendinger's new teammate in that Forsyth Index 3 car, the former series champion. Damata, one of the former winners, 2-time winner here, only 2 in the field, he and Bourdais. Damata won a year ago on that strategy that we've seen Team Australia employ. Come in at the very start of the first pit window, hope for a caution that'll cycle them to the front of the field.
Cycles them to the front of the field because Will Power and Tag now are last. They will run. If there's a yellow, everybody will peel off. They're full of fuel. They'll stay out, and suddenly they jump to the front and gain track position, the all-important track position at a place like Portland here.
Cristiano Damata, the former series champ, stepping in with this team. 3 pit windows, a 3-stop race here, Derek. 205 miles our distance. A lot of opportunity to gain or lose ground.
The windows are wide here, and if you don't take the gamble before the first pit stop, you can do it all over again on the second round of pit stop. But if you take the gamble, that's exactly what it is. If you don't get the yellow, now you are firmly in last, chasing everybody else. But look at Allmendinger here. This car has just been good. He just felt good in this car. Unlike Paul Tracy, his teammate, Tracy has been loose, fighting the back of the car, sliding the back of the car, flying off the road in practice has been Paul Tracy, not AJ Allmendinger. What a way to come into a new team.
Tracy on the radio telling his team he's got to push in that car. Here's what happened with Allmendinger earlier. Tracy, I should say, a little earlier.
Back of the car, fighting with it, no grip, is on the power, just gets it sideways, and it still gets away from him. And he still wasn't finished then. Saturday, fighting to get rear grip, and again this happens. This just shows you how much Paul Tracy was trying to get the back of the car under him. Meanwhile, A.J. Allmendinger, whatever setup he had, he was saying, my car is good, I'm fine. They try to copy as much of Allmendinger's setup to put it onto Tracy. However, he just never got comfortable.
Oh, with different driving styles, how much can you do that? Oriol Servia, meantime, will bring the Gulfstream car early to pit road. Jan Beekes.
And of course, he will be another one of these drivers that's going to try the early strategy. It's worth saying this will only work, Derek, as you were saying, if the caution period happens to come between now and when the leaders pit. But it's a good gamble. They're also going to make a slight change with the tire pressures. A quick stop for Servia, but again,
Let's go, Oriol. Got to hustle, bud.
They want him to hustle. You stay on the lead lap and you hope for caution.
And when you talk about before the leaders make their first stop, the window's 9 to 30. So about lap 30, we expect all the leaders in if it continues to go green. So the gamble is played out in the next 10 laps.
A.J. Allmendinger in that car, number 7. Now, Mario Dominguez drove that car the first 4 weeks of the season. We showed you some of his difficulties. He took out several cars, including the car of his teammate Tracy, both in the season opener at Long Beach 2 weeks ago on the Milwaukee Mile. But Dominguez had the pole with that car at Houston a couple of weeks earlier in the month of May and led laps there as well. What a beautiful backdrop for the Champ Car Grand Prix of Portland. Glad to be with you today on Father's Day on CBS Sports. Right back with more in a moment. We welcome you back to Portland International Raceway. I'm Rick Benjamin, Derek Daly alongside. Watching 24-year-old A.J. Allmendinger lead in his first start for the Forsyth Index team from the outside pole.
Now, Rick, this is a dream debut with this team for Allmendinger. But we have seen him last year make critical mistakes at critical times in the race. He absolutely cannot drop a bomb here and throw this thing off into the boondocks when he's got a stage and a car this good to just display how good he really is. Keep it in control.
He's picked up a 6.5-second lead over Dan Clark in car number 14, the Bird and a Bear CTE HVM machine. Clark in second position, surprisingly, not quite able to run with the leaders. We hear he may be coming pit road in just a moment. We're about 7 laps short of the first pit window ending.
Clark looked as if...
Oh, he's got a tire cut down there. His right front is down.
I was going to say he looked like he was going slow through the infield complex.
We're ready for you.
He needs to slow down. He's going to knock the front off that wing.
Bruno Junqueira trying to get by. Here he goes.
See the tire there?
Yeah.
It's going to chop the front off that wing if he's not careful. They don't want to have to replace the front wing. What a disaster for Speedy Dan.
Justin Wilson has already taken second.
Puncture on your right front. Nice and easy, all right? We don't want you to slide past the pits.
Tracy, meantime, battling with Bruno Junqueira. And Tracy moves up to third. Jan Beekes.
And one of the tough things to do when you come in with a flat tire is trying to hit your marks. And Dan Clark may sound easy, but that's very, very difficult with a tire down. They go to the black sidewall Bridgestone. Wow! Didn't need very much fuel. But of course, he was fast in the pits, but lost all the time on the track with the puncture.
Gives up tremendous track position. Tough break for young Dan Clark out of Great Britain, running second when he cut that right front tire down. His over-the-wall crew. Tires really in play. Marty Armstrong there and Louis Pericarpi having to handle the chores and get good new Bridgestone Potenzas. Meantime, here's Sebastian Bourdais, the series champion, trying to race by Cristiano D'Amata. Couldn't do it, Derek.
Oh, that's 150 miles an hour, even when you slow down to try and force the issue down here at the end of the back straight. That was a brave move by Bourdais. However, when you chase a championship, you usually elect to try the move, but not make anything of a rash decision, and we saw Bourdais back out of it.
Let's reset for you. Allmendinger continues to lead at lap 25. Justin Wilson now second. He is 9 seconds back. Then Tracy, Junqueira, and D'Amata. Bourdais sixth, Jan Beekes.
Talking about Sebastian Bourdais, the team does not like, obviously, what happened at the start, but they immediately shifted gears and say, okay, we're cruising. We're saving fuel. There's no panic. The car is fine. We want to check our tire wear. So Sebastian Bourdais certainly has not yet shown all the speed that he has. Newman Haas famous for saving for the end of the race.
saving fuel, and what that means is if they can use less fuel to run this speed than their rivals will be using. When the rivals peel off into the pits, they're hoping that Bourdais and maybe Junqueira can run 1 or 2 or more laps longer on a light fuel load and make up some time over their rivals who will be full of fuel.
Paul Tracy runs third. That's the blue and white Forsyth car. Here's your pole sitter, Bruno Junqueira. The hole-in-the-wall Camps Newman Haas 2 car. Not happy with the way the start happened. He was the pole sitter. Should have brought them to green, Derek. Instead, he ended up 6th after the start.
Wow, did you see how far Tracy pulled away from Junqueira in just 1 lap? So Tracy may have a car that's actually beginning to come in after 26 laps. Jan?
For Bruno Junqueira, you hit it right on the head there, is that they were very upset about the start. The team felt, the hole-in-the-wall camp thought that he was jumped on the start. But they spoke with Champ Car, they reviewed the tape, they reviewed the timing strip, and thought that, in fact, no, he was in the lead when the flag came out. The rule here now is, as soon as the green flag flies, you may overtake. Of course, he was overtaken big time on the approach to the festival curves. Now they're just riding around like Bourdais, trying to save fuel.
Heading to the front straightaway, Junqueira runs in 4th. Tamada in the Rousport 10, his first start for that team. He's 5th in front of Bourdais, who is in 6th position. Now we're about 3 laps away from the end of the first pit window. Here's the way you might play the pit strategy to get to the front. As we told you, stop early in the pit window. We saw several drivers do that, the Team Australia guys. And then you need a caution, as Derek explained. That would get you to the front of the line and give you an opportunity to pick up track position and perhaps build a lead. But it hasn't played out that way so far, Derek, as you pointed out. 2 more pit stops necessary, so you've got 2 more times perhaps to try that strategy. 2 more pit windows upcoming as we watch Junqueira run in the 4th position here.
You know, Junqueira yesterday did his pole position time on the very last lap of qualifying, as we documented earlier. He was so thrilled, believe it or not, having clawed his way back from the serious back injuries he received at Indy last year. He said, "This is like a win for me."
As we have a look at one of the battles deeper in the field, this is Jan Heylen in the Muirmans number 11, the white and blue car. And Tanis Kazimets making his first start in Champ Car in that Flexovit car. That's the second Rocket Sports entry, the 18. He's about 5 car lengths behind Heylen there. They're running 13th and 14th. Kazimets having a little trouble, I think, coming to grips with the Champ Car, Derek, a place where he had won in the Champ Car Atlantic Series a year ago.
And very successful. Won 2 races last year in the Atlantics, but these are different animals. These are heavier. You got to muscle these things around a little bit. And Kazimets is going to take a little bit of time just to get familiar and comfortable with just how different these cars are. Did he just peel off?
Watching the 2 Rocket Sports cars, Nicky Pastorelli back there. I think he headed to pit road. Pastorelli was a lap. No, there's Pastorelli. It was Kazimets who headed to pit road. Exactly right. The 2 Rocket Sports yellow and blue cars were running nose to tail as we watch these cars navigate through the festival curves and heading toward the backside of the racetrack. Here's a look at what Kazimets accomplished here in the Champ Car Atlantic Championship a year ago, driving the Flexovit machine. Swept the doubleheader on Portland race weekend, on Father's Day weekend 1 year back.
Oh, and swept it with tire smoke on the way to victory. But this was a great weekend here for him. Fist in the air. But this is a different animal when you come here this weekend. No matter how much success you had in the past, you need to start back at ground zero. Use this just as a confidence builder to say, yes, I can drive racing cars, but this is a whole new learning curve.
Jan Heylen, the Dale Coyne Racing Muirmans car, the number 11, sitting in 13th. And there is Nicky Pastorelli, 18th and last at the moment, 1 lap down. Make it 2 laps down now to the field. Tanis Kazimets had come to pit road. Oriol Servia flashing by there a moment ago. Servia in 16th. Remember, he stopped very early, put the black tires on. Here comes Heylen. The Coyne crew will go to work. They'll put 4 new Bridgestones on that race car and put some fuel in as well. Give him a full load of fuel as we get to lap number 30. And this was the closing of the first pit window, so just about everybody would have been in by now.
Wow, trouble getting the right side wheel on during that pit stop. I watched it. So the outside front. Oh, Bourdais. Does he finally make it past? He does.
He got by Tamada for 4th. So Sebastian Bourdais and the McDonald's 1 car makes a move down the front straightaway. Picks up position. Paul Tracy has come to a stop in the Forsyth pits meantime. Tracy stopping his first stop of the day for tires and fuel as we watch Bourdais.
And we're going to see how far he can go now, Rick.
Yeah.
If he has saved fuel, he's going to go longer than Allmendinger and Tracy and maybe even Wilson. We're going to watch how that plays out.
And we talked about Paul Tracy coming from 10th to 3rd, Derek, before that stop. They adjusted tire pressures, we're told, on the 3 car, trying to improve the handling of that race car. Andrew Ranger stopping the MyJack Conquest car for fuel and tires as well. Another look here.
Long down the front straight, up under his rear wing. There's the suction down the inside in the brake zone. Just take the line over the top of the curbs, and D'Amata could do nothing except allow Bourdais to take the line and take the pass.
A.J. Allmendinger continues to lead. That puts Bourdais up into 4th now. Drivers making their first stop. We're hearing that Allmendinger will stop next time. Now, how about this? Bourdais pressuring his teammate Junqueira for 3rd position.
4. This lap, Bruno is coming in.
Did you see Junqueira fight with the wheel through the right-hander? He looked very, very loose.
A.J. Allmendinger, the race leader, he's led all the way. This is lap 32. We're hearing he is going to make his first stop of the day for the Forsyth Index team. And he peels off to pit road. So your leader is on pit road under green.
Okay, this has to be inch perfect. He's never done a stop like this with this particular team. Cameron?
Take a while. Right on those marks, okay.
Slid past the marks just a little bit, Derek, but they're going to the reds once again. I was talking to Michael Cannon. He said they love the balance on the car. They have 2 sets of stickers for later in the race, and they're going red now. I'll send it down to
Jan Beekes, Justin Wilson headed your way.
Yes, Justin Wilson, and behind him will be D'Amata. We watch AJ leave as they go to the black sidewall Bridgestones, and behind we'll watch the service for D'Amata. They want to get all the fuel on that car. We now look back and see if they do a different strategy. They go with the red sidewall Bridgestones for D'Amata. So they're splitting the strategy at Rousport. You only get 2 sets. This will be his last one. Bruno Junqueira beats him out. So Bruno Junqueira beats out D'Amata, but D'Amata's trying to challenge back.
So Junqueira first off pit road. Last year's winner here, D'Amata in that yellow Rousport car.
Look at Tracy.
Tracy right there as well. Now he's at full cry. He's alongside D'Amata.
On warm tires, he's now going to try and do the same to Junqueira.
Tracy trying to move up to 4th position, and he gets there. Paul Tracy, former series champion in that Forsyth Index car number 3. Bourdais, the series champion. First stop of the day on Beekes.
And the most significant part of this pit stop is that it comes 1 lap later. Can you see Wick on the radio? They're also going with the red Bridgestone sidewalls. And when you go 1 lap longer, that's going to help later in the race.
Hang on, okay, go.
Where will he come out?
That was 10.6 seconds, a little bit long. They took a lot of fuel.
Where is Tracy? Oh, here's the group coming down the right side of your screen. Bourdais stays ahead of Tracy and D'Amata and Junqueira.
The reason, Derek, of course, if you can run 1 more lap, you're running your car when it's light and you're running it with hot tires, that's a huge benefit.
And Bourdais with the new reds, the reds are as much as 0.4 of a second faster, particularly when they're new.
A.J. Allmendinger with 33 laps on the board. The pit stop cycle leaves him out front. Now, let's take a look at our Ford Bold Moves moment this weekend. For 17 years now, the Cascade Pacific Council of the Boy Scouts has held a fundraising breakfast to help at-risk kids while also honoring individuals and companies in racing. This year, Ford Motor Company received the highest honors.
Both the Ford Motor Company, who has done so much for so many over so many years, being the breakfast honoree as the Motorsports Company of the Year, and the Boy Scouts of America, almost 100 years old now. There's a real linkage between those 2 organizations and what they've meant to the lifeblood of America.
2 great institutions with racing in their history and joined together today, recognizing Ford as the motorsports manufacturer of the year.
From Portland International Raceway, Portland, Oregon, I'm Rick Benjamin with Derek Daly on CBS Sports. The Champ Car World Series, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Portland. Race leader is A.J. Allmendinger and Derek. A surprise, the Bridgestone Reds, the softer alternates, 2 consecutive runs of the 4 segments that will make up this race.
And most of the front runners did the same thing. So Allmendinger obviously believes these tires can last long periods as well as be faster. Jan?
with Joe Barbieri from Bridgestone. And the question certainly after the first round of pit stops is about the strategy to go with the red sidewall Bridgestones or to go with the blacks. And so we've seen different teams do different things. Why?
It's the strategy they're trying to use. They might want to be saving their reds for a shorter stint towards the end and really burn them up. I've been seeing anywhere from maybe 85 to almost 100% wear off that first round of pit stops. Wear should improve a little bit, but it's going to be very exciting when we get towards the end.
You take a look at one of the reds here, you can see in fact with the camber it means it wears more here. You don't see many of these indicators, meaning that the Bridgestones on long runs on the red sidewall don't have much left at the end. Thank you, Joe.
Watching Allmendinger building his lead, 7.5 seconds ahead of Justin Wilson. Dan Clark in third. Now, we haven't seen Clark in a while, Derek, but after the pit stop sequence, Speedy Dan has cycled himself back to third spot.
The only problem is he will have to stop earlier than everybody else, which means he'll lose track time again, unless the yellow plays out for him. But whatever happens, Dan Clark, our rookie 22-year-old from England, is having an awesome day, displaying the fact that he has raw speed and ability. But what about this boy here, Allmendinger? Whoa.
A.J. Allmendinger liking the situation.
About 1.95 was your number before.
On board with Charles Wolfsman in car number 34, the MyJack Conquest machine. He's 13th, but he is going to be facing a 10-second penalty the next time he comes to pit road. He's been shortcutting the course. And Champ Car has officials, of course, all around the racetrack. If you don't stay on the road, if you go through an area like at the Festival Curves and you gain ground or gain a position, they can assess a penalty. They'll hold Wolfsman for an extra 10 seconds next time he stops. He's 13th already, so the penalty probably will not prevent him from a podium finish here today. What about Paul Tracy in car number 3? He'd gotten into third spot, Derek, but on this second set on the Bridgestone Blacks, he's 7th now. D'Amata has gotten back around him, as has Junqueira.
Strange thing about Tracy, he's never been dynamite fast here at Portland. Despite the fact that he has 37 poles and 30 wins, none of them came here at Portland. And Tracy even says himself, and Mike Cannon did about A.J. Allmendinger, we're never spectacular here, we're good. But Nelson Philippe now trying to run down Paul Tracy. 8th place for Philippe, coming off an awesome run at Milwaukee. Now has Paul Tracy in his sights. Do you think he'd like to run him down and pass him?
You know he would.
Whoa.
2 weeks ago on the Milwaukee Mile, Nelson Philippe is from France. He races out of Miami, Florida, just 19 in his 3rd season in Champ Car. A couple of years ago, Derek, when he came on the scene, you and I started working here together, and I think a lot of people felt that
your time comes with smoothness.
he was a driver who did not have a great future in the sport, but in Milwaukee, he's been improving gradually. How about this? Racing hard with Sebastian Bourdais.
And actually pulling the move off down the inside. This race here, I think, just gave Nelson Philippe that little injection of confidence that he proved to himself, I can run with these boys, and look, I stand on the podium. And I think when a driver gets confidence, you just have that ability to run on the ragged edge. And that's what we expect more from Nelson Philippe as the races go on.
Take a look at the top of your screen. If you're not familiar with Champ Car, power to pass. Cosworth gives these drivers 50 additional horsepower with a button on the steering wheel. They have 60 seconds of that to use. We're showing you how much time each driver has left in their bank here today. Jan Beekes.
And on this Father's Day, we're talking about Nelson Philippe. Let's talk to his dad, Thierry Philippe. You've got to be so proud. We just showed the replays of what happened in Milwaukee. You had to be so proud as a dad.
Yeah, we were very happy for Nelson, mainly. He did a very good job, and we're so happy for him.
What about today? It looks like he's racy. Are you at a case where you're just kind of laying back? Do you hope that he's going to be able to move forward like Dan Clark had done?
Well, I don't know. Let's see. Let's hope. And at the moment, he's racing with Paul Tracy, and he was with Sebastian Bourdais. So everything looks good. So let's see.
All right. Have a happy Father's Day.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Watching Nelson Philippe continuing to circulate in 8th. He's several car lengths behind Tracy, about a second and a half at the moment. His finishes this year, 2 top 4s, but a couple of finishes pretty deep in the field, had problems at Monterey and Long Beach.
And today he has a heart monitor. They are monitoring his heartbeat throughout the course of this race. Champ Car Medical is doing it as a study to see the type of physical exertion a driver goes through on a road course like this. I did this back in 1984. I'm really interested to see what his heart monitor numbers and graph looks like, because I'll tell you at the next race what the result is. I think you'll all be surprised how high the heartbeat goes for these race car drivers.
Battling through lap traffic, you've got Sebastian Bourdais trying to track down Dan Clark for third. Right with them is Bruno Junqueira. They get by Nicky Pastorelli's Rocket Sports car as they head through the backside of the racetrack.
Oh, did you see Pastorelli trying to get out of the way?
Yeah.
Drove up on the curb, trying to be courteous to give these boys the line. Look at this. Clark, Bourdais, Junqueira, D'Amata all in a line here.
Great stuff. Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth in play here as we work lap number 43 of 105 at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Portland.
Do you hear that rev limiter for Bourdais at the end of the straight?
Watching Oriol Servia in car number 6. He runs in 10th position in the Gulfstream PKV car. That's the car that Cristiano D'Amata won with a year ago on the backstretch. There's young Andrew Ranger. He's not 20 yet either. The MyJack Conquest number 27. Right now he runs in 12th, trying to track down rookie Will Power. In the Aussie Vineyards car number 5, he is in 11th spot. And Power is going to make his second stop of the day. Again, rolling the dice with an early stop, hoping for a caution that would put him at the front of the field. Cameron Steele.
Well, we have Will Power in the pit. I was talking to Derek Walker, and he said the lap times just aren't fast enough right now to pay off the alternate strategy. They're going to continue to work it and hope that it comes to us.
You're clear behind. Clear behind. Watch your speed. When you get out there, run like hell. Run.
That is Derek Walker on the radio. When he says, hope the track comes to us, what that means is the more rubber that gets laid on the racetrack, the more grip it gets, the balance changes on some of these racing cars. They're hoping that the balance on Will Power's car changes for his benefit and makes him a little bit faster.
Speedy Dan Clark running third. Bourdais, Junqueira, D'Amata. Great battle. Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Allmendinger's lead over Justin Wilson, meantime, has been chopped to 2.7 seconds. The two youngsters, great friends, teammates until a few days ago. Wilson, who ran so well here a year ago, second and on the charge, Derek.
Clark is in control here. His last lap was a 61.0, which is 0.2 of a second faster than Bourdais on that last full lap. So Dan Clark, he has the speed here to match the Newman Haas boys.
Something brand new in our coverage of Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. We're giving you segment times to show you the battle for position. In this case, Bourdais chasing Clark. Didn't think we'd ever be saying that in 2006. Bourdais trying to get close. He'd been losing time through the back part of the racetrack. Now we watch a little back further, Bourdais and Junqueira. That's Junqueira in the red and white car, the 2. He was your pole sitter. He is 5th right now. There's Clark running 3rd, Bourdais 4th, Junqueira 5th, D'Amata 6th. As they come to turn number 1, working lap 46. Allmendinger had a little problem evidently getting by the left car of Catherine Legg. Now he's cleared the 20 and has started to add again to his lead over Justin Wilson. It's 3 seconds at the moment. Some of the cars deeper in the field starting to use alternate pit strategy. Allmendinger has led all the way other than his first pit stop. Wilson, Clark, and Bourdais. We'll be right back in Portland. International Raceway with Derek Daly. I'm Rick Benjamin. A.J. Allmendinger has been in control of this thing, Derek, since they dropped the green, and he blew by Bruno Junqueira going into 1. 3.5 seconds ahead of his ex-teammate.
And there has to be some irony here that A.J. Allmendinger, one of the best drivers in America, gets fired out of Rousports, and Rousports has spent the afternoon trying to chase him down when he jumps into this Forsyth car here. This is an awesome display, but boy, this is a grudge match at the front of this field. Jan?
Yes, and what's so interesting with Justin Wilson, it's worth remembering that he's on the blacks and we have AJ on the reds, and if you can maintain station or even close the gap, that really is an indicator of some serious speed that's going to come in handy at the end of the race when he gets his quicker tires.
Allmendinger going with the reds, the alternate tires, about 0.4 of a second quicker at the start of a stint. 2 consecutive runs to try to build that lead, Derek Daly, but he's got to know that he's got Wilson close, who's very good here. Clark and Bourdais also lurking in the weeds.
Wow, that's a great point, Jan, because I'm following it here. There's about 0.4 of a second faster is Allmendinger over Wilson. So can he make enough of a gap? Jan?
Basically running about 4 to 5 tenths laps quick.
We're listening to the radio while Oriol Servia makes his stop. Remember, we expected him to be first because he was the first on the first round of pit stops. Right around 10 seconds for Serbia.
We got to make hay now for us.
And make hay, obviously, when you go out on a full load of fuel and cold tires, that's where the driver really earns his money.
Don Oldenburg and the team, the over-the-wall bunch for the PKV 6 car. The Gulfstream Lola of Oriol Serbia bagged his first career win at Montreal last year when he drove car number 2 for the Newman Haas team in relief of the then injured Bruno Junqueira. Allmendinger continues to lead in car number 7, Cameron.
I'm with AJ Allmendinger's engineer, Mike Cannon. Mike, seems like you guys are having a perfect race. What about the strategy to go back-to-back reds?
I mean, he just felt that the balance was particularly good in the car. And we know the track will grip up as the race proceeds. We've got 2 sets of sticker black Bridgestones, and those things, if it stays green, grippy track, they're as fast or even faster than the reds.
What's he saying about the car? Is it an easy drive so far for him today? What about the fuel?
Oh, I mean, this is like a Father's Day present for me. I mean, he said nothing about the car. I asked him any changes. He's like, nope, that's all we got. I mean, my son's Cooper and Colin at home. They got me some lovely Father's Day gift, but this might be the best one yet.
We'll see how it plays out. Thank you.
Watching your leader. Here comes Allmendinger. Off of turn 2, 3, heading to 4. Now, 2 weeks ago in Milwaukee, everyone thought that Allmendinger and the Rousport team, that was a marriage that was going to continue in racing for quite a while to come. He ran 4th there, but there was a pit stop sequence that might have given us a little bit of a hint of things to come. Let's take a look back at the Milwaukee Mile 2 weeks ago and show you what happened. Allmendinger, your leader. Wilson second. Serbia already on pit road.
And of course, AJ Allmendinger is leading, but he stops first and is pitted behind. The preferred spot would be Justin Wilson here. So if Justin Wilson can get over, he does! He beats him! Justin Wilson takes the lead! And AJ Allmendinger slots into second, and you can see AJ gesture when he lost the pits. He was going, what the heck happened there? I just lost the lead in the pits.
Now, we know he's an emotional driver, Derek Daly. You and I had a chance to speak to his now former car owner, but still friend, Carl Russo, before the start here today. Emotion with race drivers can be a great thing, but it can be a difficult thing, and maybe it is for Allmendinger.
Never allow circumstances to dictate your behavior, but what a busy week for AJ Allmendinger.
Take a look back at what happened with Allmendinger over the last several days. He was released on June the 9th. Next day, he had plans. He took his now fiancee Lynn to Niagara Falls. They went ahead and got engaged. He didn't have a job at that point. But then the next Tuesday, he signed with the Forsyth Indac team. What was originally said to be a 2-race trial. Kind of like moving in together before the wedding day.
Well, the fiancee Lynn Kushnirenko is a former Miss Champ Car from Toronto. She is here to support him. With the eyes of the world on AJ right now, can he be mistake-free when the heat is being turned up in the pressure cooker here? This is a great test for him.
Allmendinger continues to lead 3.5 seconds the advantage over Justin Wilson. He has saved 36 seconds of Cosworth power to pass on tap. That extra 50 horsepower that's there with the touch of a button.
And the last 2 laps by Justin Wilson have been just a touch quicker than Allmendinger, so Allmendinger is no longer beginning to inch away from second place Justin Wilson.
Well, the driver saw the crossed flags moments ago. Let's take you through the first half of the action here today at Portland International Raceway. We call it halfway home, and Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Bruno Junqueira was your pole sitter, but he got snookered on the start, gave up tons of ground. They were way wide into turn 1. Everyone got through somehow safely, but Allmendinger from the outside pole jumped to the lead, and that was Dan Clark moving to second. He continues to do well. He runs third here. Nicky Pastorelli had a frightening moment up over the berm and almost into the air. He had cut down his left rear tire. Apparently a wing end plate got him. Allmendinger worked on building the lead through the first couple of laps, first handful of laps. This is Clark. As he had to run through the runoff area, he had shredded a right front tire. He came all the way around on that bad skin. They put a new Bridgestone on. Bridgestone Potential's doing a great job here. He was down and away. Allmendinger made his first stop. The cycle put him back at the front of the field, but they used up both of their sets of the alternate tires, the Bridgestone Reds, that are about 0.4 of a second quicker. Cristiano D'Amata, who took over the Rousport 10 ride from Allmendinger, making his stop as well. He's been battling hard with Junqueira. Allmendinger has been the dominant player through 54 of 105 laps today, and we're halfway home and then some at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Portland. Allmendinger down the front straightaway, getting lap number 55 on the board, 50 to go. Lynn Kushnarenko watching, smiling, very pleased. They've got wedding plans in the future. And her fiance dominating the show so far. It would be Allmendinger's first career win, his 32nd career start, Derek Daly.
We have a long way to go yet.
Oh, you don't think we ought to give him the trophy quite yet?
He is under pressure to perform here. This is a great mental test as well as a physical and talent test for A.J. Allmendinger this afternoon.
Allmendinger is 3.5 seconds in front. We'll be back with more of the Champ Car Grand Prix of Portland after this message and a word from your local CBS station. Raceway Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Your chance to enter now the Champ Car Live Fast Sweepstakes presented by Bridgestone. Win a trip to the Grand Prix of Cleveland, plus a set of Bridgestone Potenza pole position tires or an Auto Week subscription. And the grand prize winner gets a new Ford Mustang GT. Join us in Mexico City for the season finale. Code word this week is Nelson. The official rules and an entry at champcar.ws. The Champ Car Live Fast Sweepstakes brought to you by Bridgestone. Alongside Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin on Father's Day 2006. Happy Dad's Day to all the fathers around the country. My dad in Florida, of course, included in that. Running 15th in points. On board there momentarily, Charles Wolzman in the MyJack Conquest 34. Bruno Junqueira, Cristiano Damata, the fight for 4th position right now. There's about 0.6 of a second separating the two. Junqueira, the pole sitter in the hole-in-the-wall Camps 2 car, grabbed the pole yesterday in second round qualifying with a very fast final lap in the stint. Damata, of course, won here a year ago on that alternate strategy that Derek has spoken about. Bruno on the radio there to his team.
Hard to make out what he said, but you can see him saw at the steering wheel, Bruno Junqueira. You see him saw at the steering wheel trying to hang on to this car as he gets the power on exiting. He's now saying that power is blocking him.
Meantime, Damata brings the Rousport car to pit road. Car number 10, running in 5th position. This is the car Allmendinger jumped out of. Jan Beekhuis is there.
And they are set up. We're shooting this from Justin Wilson's pit, and they're going to pull the tires back because they're going to pit Justin Wilson after they're completed with Damata. Hard to get a very clear view, but very routine from here. Didn't appear to be any stops. 9.8 seconds, and now we already see Justin Wilson on pit road. And as close as he was to the lead, every fraction of a second is going to make a huge difference on pit road. In the meantime, Cameron Steele.
Work on your mark.
Well, we're just wondering what's happening. Mike Cannon with A.J. Allmendinger. We saw Justin Wilson go by. When are you guys coming into the pits?
We're going to wait a little bit longer. Our biggest problem right now, for whatever reason, we seem to bump into Catherine Laggett off a lot. Our team's not doing a very good job of keeping up with her.
All right. Let's send it to Jan Beekhuis.
And a quick stop for Justin Wilson, in and out. Again, it's a case where you want to save every fraction of a second you can, but if you can stay on the racetrack and run longer, Derek, of course, that's the biggest advantage of all. That's more than you can ever make up in a pit stop.
And A.J. Allmendinger right now is running longer than Wilson. Wilson, however, see the red sidewalls here on these little beauties from Bridgestone? Those red sidewalls denotes more speed potentially. However, Mike Cannon is of the belief when he brings his leading driver in, Allmendinger, and puts the black sticker, the brand new fresh Bridgestones on, he thinks he'll be able to run just as fast. In fact, he said maybe a bit faster.
Allmendinger talking to his team about lap traffic. He's got Dan Clark in front of him. Now Clark is 9th. Clark had a pretty slow stop on his second pit stop. He was 3 seconds longer than he wanted to be.
Allmendinger's got to make sure now that he doesn't lose a lot of time. He's on light fuel tanks when he needs to be flying here, running from Wilson. He needs to make sure he judges this properly. It doesn't get caught out by lap traffic. Dan Clark is much heavier right now, having just made a pit stop. What will this team do? Will they bring him in or leave him to run that fuel tank all the way down?
At the start of the race, we heard Michael Cannon and A.J. Allmendinger on the radio discussing being easy with fuel, trying to save fuel where possible. It's worked out for them so far.
A.J., look at your board. Look at your board. Then count down to 1. Count down to 1. 10-4. 10-4. Here we go now. Come in lap traffic.
He's outside the second fuel window. Most teams would have stopped their second time by now. They haven't done it yet, so he's going to go another lap further, Derek, on this stint, it appears.
And he knows what's going on here. He's concerned. He's in lap traffic, and he cannot run as fast as normal as he normally would without that lap traffic. That's what he's asking Phil Lapin, who is on the radio to him, or with him.
Meantime, the Newman Haas team has told Bruno Junqueira, who right now is third behind Sebastian Bourdais, forget about fuel. Put the pedal down. Let's go. As we watch Catherine Legge in the Bell Micro, car number 20, Legge back in 15th position. Led laps in Milwaukee. First time ever for a woman to win lead laps in the Champ Car World Series. On pit road, Paul Tracy, Cameron.
Well, they had a problem getting fuel out of the car. It looks like they had a little bit of a mix-up there. They were going to short fuel the car and try to send him on his way quickly to go with a different type of strategy, says Neil Mickelwright. But you saw that when they were trying to get the receiver in there, he couldn't get it out quickly, and a little bit of a hiccup. And you can see A.J. Allmendinger is in right now. He's going to be going to the blacks. He's already run both sets of reds. They said the car is perfect. We'll see how it plays.
Okay, now we have to see, where is Justin Wilson? Where will Wilson be when Allmendinger peels out of the pits here? Where's Wilson? Where's Wilson? Is that him on the right?
Yeah, Allmendinger
look at this.
Pit road. By a whisker, Allmendinger holds the lead.
Oh, we got a fight on our hands here, boys.
Here comes Bruno Junqueira. Bourdais has actually taken the lead now, but he has yet to stop.
Look at Allmendinger, makes a move to the inside of the racetrack. Wilson is on warm tires, hot tires.
Bourdais showing the leader, Allmendinger running in second, Junqueira and Wilson. And you're watching with Wilson as he tries to get around Junqueira now.
Man, 63 laps in, and a blanket will cover the top three here. This is a fight now to the finish.
And Derek, we haven't had a caution lap yet. We've been all green all the way. There was only one yellow here a year ago. Mario Dominguez has made his stop from car number 19, the Sonny's Barbecue car. He's back in 15th.
There's Wilson's faster Bridgestone red. See the sidewalls. But if he's stuck behind Junqueira, who now peels away, it is a straight fight. Wilson versus Allmendinger.
There you go.
Oh, this is good stuff here.
Here comes Bruno, pole sitter today in the 2 car. The hole-in-the-wall Camps machine for the Newman Haas bunch, Jan Beekes.
And they're going for the black sidewalls. No visible changes on the wings. And that was a very quick stop. That was under 10 seconds. Took only the fuel that they needed.
Go, go, go.
Again, so much encouragement on those pit radios to keep everybody, they know cold tires, that's where you can really make hay.
Now he will have to make one more stop. Here comes D'Amata trying to get around Bruno.
And that is for position. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Again, how brave will D'Amata be?
Bruno moves to the inside, closes the door on him. Bruno in the red and white car. D'Amata, the former series champion, the yellow and white Rousport 10.
D'Amata does not need to make an unwarranted brave move here and maybe damage these 2 cars.
Bourdais has the lead. He'd love to get by the lap traffic that he believes is holding him up right now. That's one of the MyJack Conquest cars up there.
The difficulty here is there's double apex corners, and unless a driver literally gets out of the power and moves way offline, as we saw Pastorelli do earlier on, it's hard to just move out of the way here. And watch Bourdais' fist. Just watch this down this front straight. He's waving his fist at the starter stand, trying to tell the flagman, get the blue flag, get these guys out of my way, and he's still not out of Bourdais' way, who is leading right now.
J.D. Wilbur in the flag stand, as always, for the Champ Car World Series. That blue flag with the orange stripe, and here comes Bourdais, series champion, going for 5 straight wins.
Clear into your box, Seb. Norm's waving you in. It's going to be fast, guys. Nice, solid stop here. Hit your mark, Sebastian.
Can you hear Kenny Seawick? He's famous for coaching him through every step, and he's had to hear an earful from Sebastian Bourdais about other cars on the racetrack. That was quick. Again, only taking the fuel that they need. They want to be sure that they get back in position, and this time don't get stuck behind slower cars.
39 laps to go. Kyle Sopchik and the boys for the McDonald's team sending their driver Bourdais 4 times a winner this year.
Meanwhile, Allmendinger and Wilson just flew by. It is a straight fight at the front between Allmendinger and Wilson. Allmendinger has the Bridgestone blacks. Wilson has the faster reds. Oh, we're going to see how that plays out here, boys. 66 laps gone.
Which means we are 39 laps from the checkers today here at Portland International Raceway. And Sebastian Bourdais, 2 times the defending Champ Car World Series champion, the points leader this year after winning the first 4 races of the season. Sits third after gridding third. He has led laps just moments ago. This is the battle for the lead. Allmendinger in the 7th. The Forsyth Index car, the CDW9 of Justin Wilson out of England. The 2 former teammates toe-to-toe again. Now, Derek, the last couple of years, it's been Wilson with the upper hand. Allmendinger couldn't defeat him in a head-to-head battle.
Look at this here. This is what it's all about here. Can Allmendinger withstand the pressure? Can the regular Bridgestones prove to be as fast as these red sidewall tires? And Wilson fights the car.
Meantime, Will Power, the Aussie Vineyards 5 car, they've got a problem taking the engine cover off. They've got the right rear wheel off as well. He stays in the race car, but it looks as though his day may be done. Will Power shown 17th, a couple of laps down. Allmendinger and Wilson less than a second apart at the head of the field. 38 to go, make it 37 as they flash to the stripe. Wilson can see Allmendinger up in front in that Forsyth Index 7. Boy, the scenery around here is just sensational. The racing's been dynamite as well. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Your leaders, Allmendinger. Laps to go at Portland, the Champ Car World Series Grand Prix at Portland. Riding with the 2nd place car of Justin Wilson. There's your leader, Allmendinger. The gap, Derek, about 6 or 7 car lengths.
And Justin Wilson was closer a lap earlier, and he took a big lunge down the inside of A.J. Allmendinger, who got caught in traffic. Have a look at it right here. This is down the front straight. Allmendinger caught in traffic a little bit. Watch Wilson. Watch the wheels. Oh, locks it up. Locks it up. That gives you an indication of just how hard Justin Wilson is trying to make the pass on A.J. Allmendinger.
Now, he's been on the radio with his team. One more look from the onboard. He thinks he may have flat spotted a tire here. Watch this. Dragging that right front, Derek.
He might have. He may well have flat spotted that.
He's on those Bridgestone Reds, the alternates, and we know they're softer. Leaders on the front straightaway, lap 72, 33 to go. One more stop upcoming. All green so far today at Portland. Allmendinger at the end of the front stretch, nearly 168 miles an hour.
This is what it's all about here. This is what racing is all about. Man and machine, straight fight, going as hard as they can.
Allmendinger at age 24 has yet to win in these cars, Derek. What's he feeling? What's the pressure like on him right now?
Have another little peep here at the flat spot. We're going to slow the video down and stop it, and I'll show you what a flat spot is. Wilson in the red car, we're on board, flats, hits it. Now roll the video a little bit more to the 2nd stop. He rolled the tires. Now when he stops it right, rolled a little bit more. You see the blue, now stop it right there, See that? That's what we call a flat spot. Flat spot is when the tire is round and then you flatten it because you scrub it against the ground. Will Wilson pay for that little brake lockup as this race runs on?
You'd think he'd have to, Derek. That would take the wheel out of balance, perhaps. He is back off the pace a bit. He's given up a 2.5 seconds in the last lap. He was right behind Allmendinger for 6 or 7 laps. Look, 2.5 seconds back now.
Oh, AJ will look in his mirrors and see the red car get further and further away. 2 laps earlier, he could say Wilson's eyeballs out on stalks as he was trying to attack Allmendinger. Jan?
With Carl Russo. And Carl, we heard on the radio a concern about a flat spot. Is that a concern for you and the team?
Well, I think it's a little bit of a concern. As you saw, Justin was chasing down AJ and they came up on a lap car. I think the lap car slowed a little bit more than Justin anticipated. AJ slowed down and then Justin really had to get on it. We'll see how bad of a flat spot it is. If it's really bad, he'll just jiggle his eyeballs around a little bit. If it's not so bad, he'll drive through it.
Now, if it were bad, would you take an earlier part of the next pick window to get a new tire on sooner?
Well, the engineers will make that judgment based upon lap times, and they'll look and see what they think they're losing versus what they'll gain, and they'll make that call. To your point, if he's losing a lot, they're going to make an early stop.
Your personal thoughts on seeing AJ and Justin race each other out there so close, but not in both of your cars?
I think it's a Rousport 1-2 so far, so I'm doing okay. No, I think, again, I told you, I think AJ's a great driver. I think Justin's a great driver. I think it's poetic justice that we're seeing this fight. It's a heck of a race right now, and everywhere in the field.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Justin Wilson second in the CDW9 car. Problems a moment ago as he was trying to take the lead away from AJ Allmendinger heading into turn 1.
So what happens, the driver, the weight on the right side of the car is a little bit less. That's why the wheel locks in the first place. Now it's grinding the rubber off the road, grinding the tire. Left one is rotating, right one isn't. Grinding the rubber away, grind away, grind away. Eventually it's flat. There it is right there. Look at that baby right there. And when that gets flat, that's what Carl Russo was referring to also when he said about the flat spot. And just so as you, again, the flat spot, the tire is fully around. Then you have a flat spot where you wear it away. That causes the vibration and the eyeballs to rattle.
He is slowing down. Cameron Steele.
Well, I was talking to Michael Cannon about the fuel delivery, and they said, we short fueled a bit, but we think that Justin Wilson short fueled even more. And quote, he said, we're going to run him like a dog until he has to come in.
Love it, love it, love it.
You've got to answer pressure with pressure in this game, Derek Daly.
I love what I'm seeing right now. And Cameron, when Mike Cannon told you earlier on that we think the track's going to have enough grip for the Bridgestone regular blacks to be able to run as fast as Wilson on the reds, I think that was an engineer who knew what he was talking about, certainly from what we see right here.
Well, the third and final pit stop window has just opened. We are 30 laps from home here today, so you could make your final stop now. A little further back in the field, Oriol Servia 9th, Andrew Ranger 10th. Alex Tagliani in 11th, but not in the frame at the moment. As we watch Servia in that 6th car, remember he wrecked 2 cars earlier this weekend. He's using Catherine Legg's backup at the moment. And there's the MyJack Conquest driver, the 27 young Andrew Ranger, holding on to 10th.
Allmendinger just pulled 7/10 of a second over Wilson on that last lap again, except he got himself into traffic. Part of that traffic is Oriol Servia right here in the Gulfstream car.
That top 5 on the Milwaukee Mile 2 weeks ago. Best run of the season so far for the driver who won at Montreal for the Newman Haas team 1 year ago. His first career victory in Champ Car, native of Catalunya, Spain.
And they changed everything on the setup prior to this race because Oriol was struggling. That's where he had the 2 crashes right there. We showed them earlier. The highest speed corner on the racetrack.
Allmendinger trying to put these guys a lap down. Allmendinger's right behind Ranger now.
Well, the problem is Ranger and Servia are in a battle for position, so they do not want to pull over and make it easy for Allmendinger to get by and potentially lose touch with each other. This could be tricky for Allmendinger.
AJ Allmendinger, Derek, and you started to talk about it earlier in the telecast. Let's go back, if we can, a year ago, several times, especially at Edmonton, where we'll be on CBS in a few weeks. Seemed to have the race in the bag for the Rousport team. And as you put it, threw it away.
Had brain fade at critical times. So far today, he has been impeccable. If he can be mistake-free, so seldom does a racing driver get the package that is this good underneath you, the type of package we see Allmendinger have today. That's an awful speech up, but he's got to make his way past these guys.
Andrew Ranger there in the MyJack 27, the MyJack Conquest car we showed you at age 19. Very well placed in the championship, although they have struggled here.
Oh, look,
Wilson for tires. He's coming in now.
Oh, decisive moment.
Justin
Wilson. Very shortly after tires. Once again, we'll need mammoth outlaps. Yeah.
He can't.
Heading toward his pit stall. They'll put on the blacks. Jan Bikus.
And he slid just a little bit past the marks. That shouldn't slow it too much, but every fraction of a second makes a difference. So we know the answer about the flat spot. Just by virtue of the fact he decided to pit early, that's the answer about how bad that flat spot is.
27 laps to go. 7th place Paul Tracy will also pit his Forsyth Index 3 car right now. Wilson fine on fuel to get home, Derek, but that stop early.
One tiny brake lock at the end of this front straight here may end up being the telltale difference between whether you challenge for the lead and the race win or whether you've given up the golden opportunity here. However, Allmendinger now still has to run through traffic and make his last pit stop.
So the pressure from Wilson is off for now. He's still showing second. There's Tracy leaving pit road. He's made his final stop of the day. That shoves him back to 10. Wilson down the backstretch in the CDW9. We showed you earlier how strong he was here a year ago. Led from the pole through more than 50 laps of racing, only to have the engine let go, and Wilson did not get to the checkers. The tire, the culprit.
There it is. There is the flat spot. That causes the vibration through the steering. It'll go through the chassis. It'll shake the driver's eyeballs, depending on how bad it is. But that's the reason right there why Justin Wilson was forced to make a different pit strategy decision. Now, can he still run down Allmendinger?
Well, this has vaulted Sebastian Bourdais into second spot, 15 seconds behind the race leader Allmendinger. But Bourdais hasn't shown much speed today, Derek. A caution would help him tremendously, of course. Or problems for Allmendinger that could crop up as we are 25 laps from home here at the Champ Car Grand Prix of Portland. 5th race of 2006. Next week on CBS, we'll be with you on Sunday afternoon. Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland. Hope you can be with us from Burke Lakefront Airport, one of the best venues in the sport. Wide, fast, and wild on the shores of Lake Erie.
Well,
here is Bruno. His 4th place to Junqueira in that 2 car.
A mistimed yellow now will be a disaster for Allmendinger.
Absolutely.
Because Wilson would be laughing all the way to the bank.
Bourdais, too, would stand to benefit greatly if such a thing were to happen. But we have been caution-free. A year ago, only 1 yellow flag, and it was for Wilson when the engine broke in the 9 car. For 3rd spot, the gap very tight, couple of car lengths. There's your pole sitter, Junqueira, who is in 4th in front of Cristiano D'Amata, who took over the Rousport 10 with the departure of Allmendinger following Milwaukee. Carl Russo and the Rousport management group quick to pounce and name the former Champ Car champion as the new driver of the 10 car. And it's tough. They didn't get to test together. They came here this weekend. They don't even have a proper seat for D'Amata as we watch the 9. Serbia on pit road from 10th position. The Gulfstream Lola, the PKV car.
And the reason that he pitted is he also had a right front flat spot, very similar to what we saw for Justin Wilson on the red sidewall. So Justin Wilson, not the only one with that problem.
Serbia back onto the racetrack in front of Nicky Pastorelli, who runs 17th in that Bavaria 8 car for the Rocket Sports team.
Now we know Justin Wilson is on the backside of the racetrack right now. He is clear of all traffic. He just did a 60.2. That is more than a second faster than Allmendinger just did. So we're only on lap 81 here. This could get really interesting.
Sure.
If Allmendinger cannot make his way past traffic as Wilson continues to make these type of laps. Nicky Pastorelli.
10th in Milwaukee, best of his early Champ Car career. He's only in his 5th start now for Paul Gentilosi's Rocket Sports team with that Bavaria backing on the side.
Bavaria is a Dutch beer.
Yes, it is. Pastorelli qualified 11th, a good qualifying run for him, but they've struggled during the race. Wilson trying to get by him here on the main straightaway. Wilson 3rd, 31 seconds behind the leader Allmendinger now. There is Serbia. He has gotten by Pastorelli. Now Wilson elbows his way by the lap car, but Bruno Junqueira being held up back there. Bruno can't get by Pastorelli. So, here's the situation. 23 laps from the checkers at Portland. A.J. Allmendinger has led virtually all the way. The champion Bourdais trails. We'll be back.
Watch your speed. Your box is wide open. Right in under Jay's hand. Okay.
Welcome back to Portland. The leader is on pit road. A.J. Allmendinger with 21 laps to go. Fuel and tires. Just a splash of fuel. You don't need to run the full stint. 7.5 seconds in Derek Daly.
Watch your speed on the way out. 2 cars on your left.
You've got to observe the pit road speed limit.
50 miles an hour.
Okay.
Back up on the racetrack. Allmendinger gave up the lead to Bourdais with that stop, but Bourdais still has to stop himself.
Top of the picture was Wilson, just coming out of the last corner, so it's the full length of the front straight. When this shakes out and the timing and scoring resets itself, we get an accurate gap between Allmendinger and Wilson.
Right now, 7.5 seconds. Bourdais takes the lead.
We are ready, Sebastian.
Getting ready to pit Bourdais. Now, your chance to enter the Champ Car Live Fast sweepstakes presented by Bridgestone is yours. Win a trip to Cleveland, a set of Bridgestone Potenzas, or Auto Week. One grand prize winner gets that new Ford Mustang GT and will join us in Mexico City. Code word this week, Nelson. The official rules and to enter champcar.ws. The Champ Car Live Fast sweepstakes presented by Bridgestone. Bourdais making his final stop, Jan Beekes.
Kenny Seawick walks him through the sequence again. Look at the front wing. They are expected to add some front wing to Sebastian, but only a half a turn. One turn adds 13 pounds. Oh, that was only one side. So if one turn is 13 pounds on both sides, that was a half. That was a very minute adjustment for Sebastian Bourdais.
Allmendinger cycles back into the lead with 18 laps to go.
We're talking 7 seconds. Allmendinger has a 7-second lead. They are both on the black Bridgestone tires. They are on an even footing here. Cristiano D'Amato, Wilson's teammate. Shortstop.
Running 6th. Here comes Nelson Philippe behind him. D'Amato down and away from 6th position, the defending race winner here. He will not back that up with a 2nd consecutive win, this time for Rousport. A.J. Allmendinger with 19 laps to go continues to lead. D'Amato accelerating off the festival curves to the backside of the racetrack. Now Derek Daly, Allmendinger with a 7-second advantage over Justin Wilson. Everyone has made their stops. Sebastian Bourdais cycles back into 3rd, about 8 seconds off the lead. Now it's a matter of, can you run the leader down? Power to pass time from Cosworth as we watch D'Amato up through the gearbox. Allmendinger has 25 seconds of power to pass time left. Now here's how D'Amato won a year ago with that early stop. They got a caution right after this that put D'Amato at the head of the line. He gained track position, never gave the lead up the rest of the day. It was the first win for the PKV team. So far their only win in Champ Car.
At times change, also won in 2002 as Speedy Dan makes his last pit stop. He was in 5th place. He'll now drop down behind Cristiano D'Amato and Tracy right there, left side of your screen. Tracy, blue and white car, off the pace all day.
But what a weekend, what a day for Speedy Dan Clark at 22. We talked about him earlier in the broadcast. He was running 3rd earlier in the season at Houston. Notably, he had a couple of different wrecks. There was talk that he might not even finish the season in this car. But as we heard from Keith Wiggins earlier, the team principal for CTE HVM, he has come into his own. He's learned from his mistakes. He's paid attention, gotten faster. As we watch A.J. Allmendinger putting on a clinic here today. He's got to get by Mario Dominguez in that Sonny's Barbecue 19. The 3rd driver involved in the round of musical chairs we had, Cameron.
Who drove this car?
Well, I've caught up with Greg Allmendinger, AJ's father, and it looks like your boy's working pretty hard to bring you quite a Father's Day gift.
Yes, it will. It's very exciting out here. So thankful for the opportunity from Foresight. It's been great, and all we need to do now is to see a checkered flag.
I bet you're wishing it was coming sooner than later.
Yes, I wish it would come real soon, but it's really a great thing. And I'd just like to say thank you to Red Bull for sticking behind him, and I'd like to say happy Father's Day to my dad at home, and hope to be on #1 on top of the podium. So
we'll see if it works out. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Greg Allmendinger hoping for an incredible Father's Day gift, Derek, but in this situation, what a boost for his career it will be. We'll talk about that when we continue. We'll be back with more of the Champ Car Grand Prix of Portland after this message and a word from your local CBS station. Could be some chest bumping in victory lane if A.J. Allmendinger can close the deal. He is 13 laps from home as we watch Nelson Philippe run 8th in car number 4, trying to get close enough to get by his teammate Speedy Dan Clark, who, after running in the top 3 earlier, Derek, Clark has battled back, but he's had some adversity. He's had some difficulty lately. The car isn't working nearly as well. Here's Philippe, who was third at Milwaukee, trying to get around his teammate and take seventh away from him. In the mix of that group, Andrew Ranger, Oriol Servia. They are running 9th and 10th right now. There is Philippe getting by the lap car. The Muirman's number 11, Jan Halen, the other Dale Coyne entry. He and Mario Dominguez now the teammates at Dale Coyne Racing. As Derek mentioned a few moments ago, Allmendinger was battling to get by Dominguez, and they had essentially swapped seats, or they had participated in a three-way swap of seats. There's Clark. He saved some of the Bridgestone Reds for his final run here today.
Bird and a bear backing on the side of this car. There is our Dan.
8th at Milwaukee, a very good run for him. First time he'd ever seen an oval track, of course, out of England. Now, you might be thinking about A.J. Allmendinger, as we have been up here topside at Portland International Raceway. This is his 3rd year in the series. He won the Barber Dodge Championship, then the Atlantic Series Championship, came to Champ Car in 04 with high hopes. Many close calls, hadn't gotten to victory lane. He is the only American driver now as we watch Nelson Philippe. And there is Dan Clark, actually. Philippe had that podium a week ago. When was the last time an American-born driver won a Champ Car World Series round? Well, it was almost 2 years ago, more than 2 years ago. In fact, it was Ryan Hunter-Reay. The night he went wire to wire at the Milwaukee Mile in 2004. Jan Beekes.
When you talk about the Milwaukee Mile, when you talk about CTE Racing, of course, standing for Cedric the Entertainer, we've known that the former HVM team has always been good on the oval, but they've said we used to struggle on this road course type of setup. Obviously, they took that momentum that they gained from Milwaukee in these fast, kind of long momentum corners. They've applied it here. They're obviously very happy with what they've come up with.
Philippe also is the Bosch most improved driver of last year. That was, of course, voted by his peers. So Philippe and this team and Dan Clark hanging on to how good it all is, all beginning to come together very nicely. But this is the man here who's having a day in the sunshine. If he can just hang on here and be mistake-free to the end of this race.
10 laps to go for A.J. Allmendinger in the Forsyth Index 7 car, gunning for his first career Champ Car win. Cameron Steele, what a day for Allmendinger and that team.
Wow, it certainly has been quite a week. Actually, I'm here with Lynn Krishnarenko. And Lynn, when he proposed to you as an unemployed driver, did you think there was any chance he'd be here leading the race in Portland, going for his first win?
Well, his mom promised me to get a job, so. No, you know, this weekend's been a lot of new stuff, and we can't thank Forsyth enough for everything they've done for him. They made him feel so welcome and so relaxed this weekend. And Red Bull has backed him 100% this week. It couldn't have been a better time for all these people to rally around him and make him feel welcome.
What, was he down? How was his personality? I mean, were you shocked, obviously, with what happened, but how did he take it? Seems like he's bounced back really well.
He has. You know, no one ever likes to hear that kind of news, but he certainly was. It's time for a change, and he agreed with that, and so certainly it's come full circle, and he's doing really well, and so we're all very happy with the change.
Looks like change is good. We'll see how it plays out.
I think that you could say that A.J. Allmendinger has just gotten himself a full season ride. That 2-race deal, I bet that gets torn up tonight. What do you think, Derek?
Let me tell you, with less than 10 laps to go, A.J., this is hang on to your hollyhocks time, because if you can pull this off, this will be a day that you'll watch the videotape for many years to come, because so far it has been absolutely Cinderella stuff.
Less than 10, 9 laps to go. The last time by, Allmendinger out of turn 4, headed to the backside here at Portland International Raceway. He's got a 9.5-second lead over his ex-teammate and still good friend Justin Wilson in that CDW car number 9. Wilson with the 2 career wins, and he came oh so close here a year ago before motor failure did him in. Wilson with that flat-spotted tire when he was chasing Allmendinger back 25 laps ago, Derek, that did him in.
It did him in on that particular challenge, but overall, as you look at the performance of Wilson right here and Allmendinger overall, from green flag to potential checkered flag, Allmendinger still has the speed. He just has the better package, and he has not made a mistake. So I don't think, even in a straight fight, I'm not sure Wilson right here in the CD.
The race is 59.7, Seabass.
In the CDW car, I'm not sure he was going to be able to take it to Allmendinger. You heard that fastest lap of the race at 59.7. That was actually, I'm looking at the
59.4 is what it looks like.
which Bourdais just did that. So Bourdais just set fastest lap of the race.
Making a statement here late in the going on light fuel on the Bridgestone black tires. Bourdais' bid to win 5 in a row and join Al Unser Jr.
Wow, that's right.
Will not work. Al Unser Sr., I should say, will not work out. Al Unser, of course, in 1970 won 5 in a row.
And guys, when you talk about fastest lap, remember, if it's not your day, there's always a championship point if you run the fastest lap. So they're always thinking about championship at Newman Haas and the McDonald's team.
Very good point, Jan. Exactly. Bourdais, 59.4. In fact, his last 2 laps were the 2 fastest laps of the race.
Bourdais on the button now. 12.5 seconds back of Allmendinger. 7 laps to go as they come by, start, finish, and head to turn 1 here at Portland.
That's what he's doing here. He's using all the extra Cosworth power to pass as we have a little Bo Peep here at the battle for 6th place. Hard to believe Paul Tracy is in a fight here for 6th place with Dan Clark and Nelson Philippe.
About 3/10 separating these drivers. Tracy has 6th right now. His 128th straight start. Now, he saved the set of the Bridgestone Reds for the final run here today, too. Clark is 7th. Philippe is 8th. 9th is Ranger.
Push to pass. Clock is on it. Clock is on. Push to pass.
Oh, that is Neil Mickelwright telling Paul Tracy that Clark is on the Cosworth push to pass, the extra 50 horsepower to try and pass Tracy down this front straight. This is a great fight here with 6 laps to go.
But you know what? Clark just used his last shot of power to pass. He's out.
And didn't pull it off.
Didn't get it done. Tracy still has 14 seconds. And the way that works at a place like this, you might be wondering, you know, it comes out of a 60-second bank. You do get a 10-second burst. And the savvy veterans like Tracy, they'll save a second or 2 and get 1 extra burst. They might get 8 or 9 seconds of extra power to pass over and above that 60 that they're given on the clock, on the computer.
And meanwhile, Nelson Philippe is catching the 2 of them here.
Yeah.
Philippe is definitely rolling them in here. Philippe would love to get that, at least that 6th place or that 7th place from his teammate Dan Clark.
Watching that battle, Tracy remains 6th. 7th is Clark. Philippe, his teammate, is 8th. Up in front, it's still Allmendinger, 8.5 seconds to the good.
Push to pass left.
Telling Nelson Philippe that he's got the opportunity to get around his teammate now because Clark has used all of his power to pass time. And here comes the John Halen machine. And there is Allmendinger. The battle for 2nd, though, starting to be joined. Bourdais about 1.5 seconds behind Wilson. There's Wilson in the CDW9. He runs 2nd. The McDonald's 1 of the champion Bourdais is 3rd. 5 laps to go at Portland. 5 to go for the leaders.
Oh, the only problem Bourdais might have is when we went on board at the end of the long back straight, Bourdais gets on the rev limiter. I thought earlier that they just put the wrong gear in this for the conditions today. So as he now begins to challenge potentially Wilson for 2nd place, will he have the grunt down the back straight without getting on that rev limiter? Here it is. Here's the back straight here.
Wilson 2nd. There's Bourdais 3rd. Bourdais' bid to win 5 in a row to open the season will not work out.
Let's listen. There it is. There's the rev limiter. That will be the limiting factor down this back straight. Now the front straight's shorter.
And Derek, remember, if you were to use the Cosworth power to pass, it raises the rev limit. So if he does have anything in the bank, that's one way he can get away from that.
With Bourdais, crosses it up in turn 1. Had to grab an extra gear there coming out of the Festival Corners.
Just as he turned into the apex, had a full handful of opposite lock on the McDonald's car, trying to control it as he got to the apex.
Wilson trying to hang on to 2nd. Bourdais is all over him as the laps wind down. Less than 4 to go. Allmendinger with an 8-second lead. A.J. Allmendinger has been so close so many times. He is way in front of this fight. Had his hands full with Wilson several dozen laps ago.
Hang on, let's listen. Okay, so he does not have his car on the rev limiter.
A little further back, Tracy now trying to hang on to 6th. He's still got Dan Clark filling his mirrors in the CTE HVM 14. His teammate Nelson Philippe in the Wellbox CTE HVM car, the 4, right there with him. 6th, 7th, and 8th, all nose to tail. Remember, Clark is out of Cosworth power to pass time. Philippe has 20 seconds of it. Bourdais, meantime, right on the back wing of the CDW car of Wilson. This is for second.
Bourdais is obviously faster. Can he get close enough at the end of the infield section right here? Up the little hill. This is a little rise. Turn left. Now the next right-hander, he's got to rocket off here and see can he force his way down the inside of Wilson. He's not close enough.
Nope.
He's not close enough. I don't think this is where he's going to make the lunge anyway. He needs to line himself up. Oh, there's the killer. But he needs to line himself up here. Get the gear. Turn the car. Here we go. Under his wing. Stay on. Oh!
Not quick enough off that corner.
I don't think so.
2 laps to go. 2 to go at Portland International Raceway.
He's good in the brake zone, but he's too far behind.
Series champion Sebastian Bourdais, I'm sure thinking if something happens to Allmendinger in the waning moments here, he could still steal the win and get 5 in a row if he can get by Wilson.
Look the way he ran him down in that last 5 laps.
2 car lengths is the gap. They'll see the white flag next time by. A.J. Allmendinger is headed to the house, it appears. He will be the first USA driver to win in Champ Car since Ryan Hunter-Reay more than 2 years ago.
What a story this will be. Hired, engaged, or fired, engaged, and hired all within the span of 5 days. He can't believe what's going on here when he sees this white flag.
A.J. Allmendinger off of turn 12 at Portland. Clean racetrack in front of him. J.D. Wilbur puts the white flag in the air. There's Lynn, Mom, Karen, Dad, Greg Allmendinger watching from the Forsyth Index pit box.
And their heartbeat is as high as that being monitored in Nelson Philippe's car right now.
24-year-old A.J. Allmendinger from Denver, Colorado these days, although originally from California. There is Karen.
Oh, this is awesome. Oh, look at the tears. Look at the tears down Lynn's face.
Remember in Edmonton a year ago, you called him Allmendinger, Derek Daly.
He was a one-man crash highlight reel halfway through last season, but here's the battle for second place.
Bourdais trying, but he will not get there. Here comes Allmendinger down into the final corners. History about to be made in the Champ Car World Series. A.J. Allmendinger at age 24. His first drive for the Forsyth team. Michael Cannon talking to him on the radio, and sports. The Allmendinger victory has happened. A.J. Allmendinger gets it done in Portland.
An encore, topping yourself. Don't keep blowing yourself.
That is a stunner. What a display. Can he even do donuts? Does he even know how to do them?
The family celebrating on Father's Day here at Portland International Raceway.
For a guy who's never got to do donuts before, he's doing a fairly good job.
I think he's been practicing. What do you think?
And he's on the rev limiter. He is going to blow that thing sky high. There is a very proud dad. Greg Allmendinger has supported his son, A.J., who's named after the great A.J. Foyt. Cameron?
Well, I'm here with Greg Allmendinger right now. What a Father's Day, and the naming of AJ even, I mean, a story here. Awesome day.
Thank you very much, man. This is a dream come true. I knew he had it in him. I just lost for words right now. I just want to say thank you to Forsyth, Red Bull, and everybody that's helped out.
Well, happy day for Greg Allmendinger, but we saw tears of joy there. What a great moment for you guys, Lynn.
Oh, this is a great moment, really, for his parents. They've been waiting for this a lot longer, and I'm just so happy for him. And the pressure he's had this weekend has been amazingly high, and the way he just coped with everything, I think, just shows his true maturity level and how much he's grown.
Definitely some mental strength coming from A.J. Allmendinger today with his first ever win.
Unbelievable here at Portland. Allmendinger getting let go by the Rousport team 2 weeks ago. And Derek, I think it's a matter of chemistry and opportunity. Obviously with a point to prove, Allmendinger fastest on Friday, gets the job done today. We'll be back to talk to the winner when we continue. Welcome back to Portland on CBS. Your winner is A.J. Allmendinger. Jan Minkus.
Well, and if you can see it through all the confetti, we have one excited A.J. Allmendinger with tears of joy streaming down your face. A.J., you could not write a movie script any better than this one. Your thoughts?
I just can't believe it. Like, you know, I got to thank Forsyth and all the opportunity that they gave me this weekend. This team, this crew, they're absolutely amazing, and they just did everything that they could for me this weekend, and they're awesome. And, you know, Red Bull for sticking with me, Puma, my parents, my fiance, and, you know, I know there's been a lot of talk, but I just want to thank Carl for everything he did for me over the last 3 years. I wish I could have got the first one for him, but you know what? Thank you to Forsyth for giving me this opportunity.
You mentioned Carl Russo, and right behind you was one of his cars, Justin Wilson, still your good friend. Were you aware how close he was at one point on the approach to the festival curves?
Oh yeah, that unfortunately Justin doesn't ever give up. I wish he would sometimes, but the guy's absolutely amazing. I've said it since day one when I was his teammate, and I'll say it until the day I retire. He's amazing, but I knew if I could just hold him off and get through the lap traffic, my car was better. So I was just kind of trying to pace myself and get through the traffic. Thanks, man.
And as we speak, here is Justin Wilson coming in. They're still best of friends. Justin, it's okay. We can talk as well. We were just saying that you were so close coming into the festival curves. You think you had a shot at him?
Well, we were in traffic, and I looked at it and decided against and locked up and, you know, just wiped out my front tire. So, you know, AJ was on his game all weekend this week, and, you know, I think the fresh start is really what was needed, and, you know, I'm really pleased for him.
From your standpoint, how tough is it to lose? I mean, today is just, as you can see behind, he's getting the hugs and congratulations from his father on Father's Day. But for you and AJ are so close, and yet all of a sudden this huge shakeup, and now you're racing again together, but for different teams.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. You know, it's a fresh start for AJ, and you know, he's obviously very happy now, and you know, it's a great moment for him. So I'm really pleased, and you know, we're still good friends away from the track, but we want to beat each other on, and it's always been the same.
Thank you, Justin. And for Champ Car, you can see how close the community is. A.J. Allmendinger walking across the car, getting the congratulations. There's Neil Mickelwright. There's the rest of the crew. His first win, and can you believe, Derek, you just said that it was Cinderella-like. Just couldn't write it any better than that.
Hollywood would love that story, no question about it. A.J. Allmendinger, your first career win here at Portland. Wild day, but it wasn't anything. Other things happened here. Other great racing took place here at Portland this weekend. Our Mazda Power Play, let's have a look back at some of the action. The Champ Car Atlantic Series. Graham Rahal on the pole, but he got turned around in the turn 1, 2, and 3 complex by Simon Pagenaud. One more look at it. This is Pagenaud from his onboard into the back end of Rahal's car. Pagenaud's car damaged. Dad Bobby, former Champ Car champion, consoling his son who won the previous race at Monterrey, Mexico. Leo Maya and James Davidson got together. Davidson had damage to his front end, didn't realize it. It put him into the wall. He shook his fist at Maya. They'll get back together later. Now the 6 car would get going and get around the 30. Quite a battle here as they fought it out toward the end. There was a lot of action in the Champ Car Atlantic Championship. The victory went to James Hinchcliffe in the Amexis Forsyth car, so a 2-race victory weekend for the Forsyth team. With the deal for us at Portland. A.J. Allmendinger, the celebration continues. His first career Champ Car World Series win here at Portland International Raceway. His 32nd career start, his first for the Forsyth team. He beats his former teammate Wilson. The champion Bourdais runs third. Alex Tagliani, Zwolsman, Catherine Legge, Mario Dominguez, who moved to the 19 car. Jan Halen, Kazimets, Pastorelli, Will Power, the 18th finisher here today. Cameron Steele.
Well, I've caught up with Sebastian Bourdais and not able to do the 5 in a row, but still a podium today, but you look disappointed. What happened?
Oh, I think I look frustrated. When we start third on the grid and before cross the start-finish line, you're 7th. I think I can't even imagine how this thing has been thrown green. I mean, the first one wasn't very clean, but if they threw the green flag on the second one, when the first one for me was so much better. So from there on, you know, it's one of the toughest places to pass on the season. So we just had a great McDonald's car today, and it's frustrating to bring it you know, no better than third.
Speaking of passes, talk about when you almost got him.
Well, you know, I think it's you can get very close, but the problem is after a few laps in the tires, the Bridgestone tires, as good as they are, you know, they just really get hurt here, and it was really difficult. Justin was in trouble, but it wasn't enough for me to pass him. I just tried to put the pressure on him.
A third-place finish for Sébastien Bourdais. Let's go to Jan.
And of course, it's been a tough day for Newman Haas. And Bruno, I know you were so excited with the pole position when you got back here with your team. A lot of animated discussion about the start. What was your view of the start?
I mean, my view is I did the first start perfect. I don't know why they waved the yellow. And then the second one, I wait a little bit more to go full throttle. And before I went full throttle, when I was controlling the speed, they threw the green. They catch me off guard, and they threw the green much, much earlier. So by turn one, I was fifth. So all the work that I did on qualify, a mistake of the race directors made me go to fifth. Unfortunately, you cannot penalize them, and they did a yellow flag and restart again. So I had a car to win today. I have to thank my Newman Haas team, but unfortunately, finished fourth. You know, it's good that at least I finished a first race of the year, but it's too hard to be penalized twice already this year, and it's unacceptable.
Now, after your accident, you've been doing so much training, and this is the first real opportunity on a very physical track to do a race distance. How are you feeling?
No, I feel 100%. I didn't get tired at all. I just mad, you know, because I cannot believe what's happened at the start. There's no excuse for what they did, the mistake they did. They had time to redo the start or whatever. I cannot explain.
Okay, we wish you better in Cleveland. Thank you.
Thank you.
The thoughts of Bruno Junqueira, the pole sitter today, has to settle for fourth, unhappy with the way the second start attempt was handled. Championship with 5 of 15 scheduled races complete. Bourdais remains on top, 30 points to the good over Wilson. A.J. Allmendinger takes control of third in the standings with his first career victory here today, 60 back in front of Ranger. Oriol Servia is 11th in front of Dan Clark and Catherine Legge, Will Power, Halen, Charles Wolzman, and Nicky Pastorelli. We've got more to come for you here on CBS Sports next Sunday, 2:30 Eastern. Our coverage of Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series continues. We're at Burke Lakefront Airport. Join us for the Grand Prix of Cleveland. Back at Portland International Raceway as Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Victory Lane ceremonies, the celebration continuing for A.J. Allmendinger. A lot's been happening off the racetrack within Champ Car. Let's get more on that. Back to Jan Beekes.
There's been a lot of changes in the Champ Car World Series recently, including a new paint scheme on the PKV machine, some barbed wires, some deeper colors. But a lot of the talk has been behind the scenes with the president of Champ Car, Steve Johnson. Merger with the IRL. That's been the talks for so many months. What's the update?
Well, the update and the good news is we're still talking. So I say stay tuned. There's good stuff coming down the road. We don't know when or if, but the key is everybody's still talking, and that's a good thing.
There's been a lot of talking also about Phoenix. There's been talks, there's been frogs, Phoenix. What's going on there?
Well, one of the senators is so happy that we're potentially coming to Phoenix to run a downtown street race. He says, I don't care what's here, I'll watch frogs race. So we put frog decals on the cars to let them know we're bringing our frogs to Phoenix.
And we certainly look forward to the possibility of going racing in Phoenix, perhaps in 2007. Well, after the 5th race in 2006, our Roush Brown's Rookie of the Year standings, Speedy Dan Clark is out in front, 1 point to the good over Catherine Legge. Will Power all grouped within 4. Zolzman, Halen, Pastorelli, and Denise Kazimets trailing. Let's get the thoughts of the leading rookie in the season standings. Cameron.
Well, Speedy Dan leading the rookie points and running as high as second today. Maybe a little disappointed with 6, but that is your best finish. I think we deserve a smile maybe.
Yeah, 6 is not bad. Top rookie. I really wanted 6. I came out after our last stop and PT was ahead. And yeah, there was some cursing going on in the helmet, but I was lucky to catch him by the end, and I think that was a real battle. I don't know how it looked on the camera, but you know, I know he was trying, and I was trying, and to get him on the last lap, you know, like that as well. I think I'll remember that for a while. I think my manager will like that. He's probably on TV now laughing.
Definitely laughing a little bit. I want to ask you about the flat tire. What happened, and were you concerned that that was just going to put you all the way to the back?
Yeah, definitely. I got a great start into second, and I was quite comfortable there. And we know that AJ was quick all weekend, so we weren't trying to win the race.
And you know, our first race is a rookie race, and we knew we'd be miles ahead of the rookies, so we were content with that. But to run that pace was really confidence building. I mean, it was scary at the time because, you know, everyone's on your case, on your tail, but it was good to run that pace. And then, yeah, then we had the flat spot, and that was just the bumps going into turn 1. So annoying. But to come out in third again, and then Bourdais was on my case, and you know, I really earned myself some confidence there just by staying in front of him for the whole stint. And I could see that he didn't have the legs on me either. And then it kind of got hard, and the seatbelt started pinching my leg, and my leg went numb, which is really hard when it's your throttle pedal as well. But no, I'm happy, and happy for it because it's Father's Day as well, so happy Father's Day, Dad.
There you go. Let's send it back up to the booth.
Dan Clark finished 6th today. A.J. Allmendinger swinging the victor's champagne for the first time in his Champ Car career. Derek Daly, what a scene down below us, our vantage point. And A.J., you know, all that he's been through in the last week and a half.
Give the champagne bottle to his dad. It was a very emotional day, and I have to believe that A.J. Allmendinger, this young, gifted American, grew up today. I believe he is now at a new and a higher level. Jan Beekes.
Well, you talk about a higher level. You talk about Cristiano D'Amata, P5, today a 5th place. Got to be reasonably happy with that.
I'm reasonably happy. His first weekend with the team. Of course, looking what AJ did with his first weekend with the team, we may look pretty bad, you know, compared to his first weekend with the team. But I'm happy overall with the progress we had through the weekend. I understand a lot more how the team works. The team understands better how I drive, how I like the car. So I'm sure we're gonna be improving quickly from this point on.
Now tell me about the start. You have a little different view than what Bruno had told me. What's your take on the start?
Well, I think it's difficult to say, but from what I see, I think Bruno and Sebastian, I mean, basically the line I was in, which was Bruno first, Sebastian third, I was 5th. They both started to get going. All of a sudden, they backed off. I don't know for what reason. I don't know what the flagger was doing, because I was just looking at Bruno's car to see how quick he was going to take off. All of a sudden, he backed off. So Sebastian had to back off. I had to back off and almost brake and avoid and like sharply turn to avoid crashing Sebastian's gearbox. And on that, obviously, I lifted, and when you go back on, you have to go on the push to pass again. And actually the left side lane just goes quick. I don't know what happened exactly there.
All right, a lot of discussion on the start, but great start for Rousport. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The thoughts of Cristiano D'Amata, the 2002 Champ Car World Series champion. His debut with Rousport. He gets a top 5 here at Portland International Raceway. A.J. Allmendinger giving Neil Mickelwright the champagne bath. Next week on CBS Sports, Sunday afternoon, 2:30 Eastern, the Champ Car Grand Prix of Cleveland. And then in 2 more weeks, we'll be with you on CBS in Toronto. 2 weeks following that from Edmonton in Alberta, Canada. It's been a joy to watch A.J. Allmendinger score his first career Champ Car victory. For Derek Daly, Jan Beekes, Cameron Steele, and Michelle Beisner, I'm Rick Benjamin. Thanks for joining us on CBS Sports, where A.J. Allmendinger is your champion. Thanks for watching. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford.